I am not telling you this, that I'm just excited because you have done this, you have given me a lot of things like the way you have supported me. My excitement is not in what you have given to me. My excitement is in what will come to you as a harvest because of what you have done. Please, out together. That I am excited like this because there is a harvest, there are fruits which will come out of what you have done. Now, if they have not done this, the fruits will not come out. So, though the man of God, the apostle, had the grace of fruitfulness, of producing a harvest in the lives of people, as long as they don't give, they don't share in the giving and the receiving with him, they will not access that grace. Please all together. They will not want it. They will not access that grace which supplies. And so in 19 he says, for my God shall supply all your needs according to the riches in his glory. So he said, and my God, now a personal God, this God who I know, because of what you have done, everything that which you need will be supplied. Now, what am I saying? This grace and this God was with the poor, but yet not all their needs were supplied. That grace which supplies all could not be unlocked as long as the church remained without helping the minister of God. That grace remained. But other graces still worked for them. But for all supply, it cannot work unless the door opens. And how did that door open for them to access that grace? It was by sharing with him in the giving and the receiving. And so the giving and receiving which the man of God is talking about is this. The man of God, when he was standing as Apostle Paul, had something he was giving to the church spiritually. So as he gives it, he receives it because he is what he is giving. The church has to receive, but for them to receive, they have to give in order for them to have a portion of receiving. So there should be that constant exchange, and that is what now makes certain graces to be available when there is that interaction of giving and receiving. If it is one-sided, a grace will not move from the other side. Please all together. Amen. So there is a door that which has to open, and when that door opens, the God who supplies all now begins to move, and he supplies them all their needs. He supplies. Now because the door is open. How did the door open? They participated in the giving. So again, what I'm saying is, there is a certain grace that which cannot be shared unless a certain door is opened. As long as that door is not opened, even when the carrier of the grace wants the grace to move, the grace will not move. The grace over someone does not identify a person as my child. The grace does not identify a person as my relative. Yet the person who carries the grace identifies people like that. This one is the church member. This one is the leader in the church. This one is my brother. This one is my sister. This one is my mother. Grace does not know that. The grace which I carry doesn't know my mother. But I know my mother. The grace which I carry doesn't know my brothers. But I know my brothers. The grace which I carry doesn't know church members. But I know the church members. And so I'll pray for the church members. I'll put them in prayers. I'll pray, and as I pray, I am directing the grace to work for them. But the grace that doesn't know them, at times the grace will ask you for the keys for the grace to move. And when the grace does that, you can't do anything. And that's the reason why the man Isaac told the son Esau, go and do what? Go and do what? Go and hunt, kill an animal, prepare food for me. And when you bring, as soon as I eat, my spirit, my soul will bless you. The grace was not identifying him as though the man was. But then the key is, what is he offering? And so for the grace to move, the door to open for the grace to move and do what is supposed to happen over this guy, who the father identifies, but the grace doesn't. The door has to open, but how? It has to be through an offering. And so the spiritual Isaac understands that though I love my son, the grace which is supposed to work for me doesn't love him, doesn't know him. But as a father, I want this grace to move on him. But how can this grace move? There should be a door that is supposed to open. But how will the door be opened? There should be a sacrifice. And so go and bring an offering of a meat as I love it. As soon as you do that, the door will open and you see a lot of things beginning to flow from me to you. So I can like you as a person, I can love you as a church member, but the grace doesn't like you and doesn't love you. And so the grace will wait for the triggers to be triggered for the grace to move. The grace will wait for the doors to be opened. When the door is open, the grace will move. Even when now the carrier of the grace doesn't want. If the door is opened, the grace will move. Israel, once through the prophet Elisha, was to win against their opponents. And prophet Elisha told them that you have so much, you will destroy everything about these people you are going to fight. And they went in and they were killing them. But before they went in, they made a sacrifice for God. They made a sacrifice for God. They went and they were winning. So when the enemy realized that their God is fighting for them, the king of that land got his own son, the prince, the one who was supposed to take over from him. He went with him on the upper part of the walls. And he sacrificed, I am sacrificing my own son to the same God who is fighting for them. I am giving this one to him. He killed his son there. And the Bible said there was indignation against the children of Israel. God turned against his people because the sacrifice that which this man had given was greater than the sacrifice they made. And they started winning now against Israel. God weighed the sacrifice. Another door opened. Though they were not called by the name of this God, he started fighting for them. A door opened. There is always a way in which grace can be accessed. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Grace doesn't know my wife. It doesn't. If it doesn't know how to open the door to access the grace will not work for her. The grace will not work for her. And so there are times when people think because I am close with the man of God, because I chat with him, because he laughs with me, then the grace will work. It doesn't. So now let's put that aside. I was just giving an illustration. So this